Hi guys, welcome back to Java Full Stack Made Easy. This is session 84 where we will be talking about the Spring Data JPA custom queries. Previous session we have discussed about the concept of derived queries and we have explored the power of Spring Data JPA. So in this session let's talk about the concept of custom queries. If you notice that in my previous repository I have never used I have not written any query here. So I let my Spring Data JPA create queries for me by just writing find by universe, right? So this is the format that Spring Data JPA requires, and because Spring Data JPA requires this format, if you just write find by universe, automatically it is going to create a query for us. Similarly, if suppose I give something like a get by universe, so for the get by universe also it should give me the query. That means it should create the query for me. So I will save it. Now what we will do is the previous application which was running, let's stop that, and now we will run this application and see if I change the method name from find by to get by, will it work or not. So I'll just go here and run it as a Java application. Now once I run that as Java application, so here I'm not getting any error. So let us go ahead and check. So we have this get by. So we know that get by universe slash the universe name has to be written. Let's go for the Marvel or DC. Let's send, and yes, there we go. So we are able to find the details based on the universe. That means we can write it as find by or get by, right? So now what I will do is I will not follow the Spring Data JPA standard, that is writing the methods like find by, get by and all that. So let us write it something like search universe, right? So this is not the Spring Data JPA format. Okay, now because of that format I should not be able to my Spring Data JPA should not be able to create a custom query for me. Let's call it as the search universe. So I will save it. Now what I will do is once again I will stop this application which was running before. Now what I will do is I will run this application once again, and now let's see what happens. So the moment I try to run that, now since Spring Data JPA is unable to create a query for me, so you can see that it has thrown me an exception. So that should be a exception, that is no property search universe. First of all, it is thinking like, do we have a property called as search universe, right? So there is nothing called as a search universe. Now that is a query creation exception. You can see that it is throwing me a query creation exception. Cannot create the query for method that is search universe. So it is unable to create a query for it. So uh, it is very important for us to follow the conventions, that is the Spring Data JPA conventions, to allow Spring Data JPA to create custom queries for to create derived queries for us. Now in this case, now if I want this method to be executed, since my Spring Data JPA is unable to create the query for this, I have to create the query for this. That's it. That itself is called as the custom queries. Although you might think, when we already have the derived queries, why do we need custom queries, right? So custom queries, usually derived queries are used. Custom queries are rarely used when there is when we have a very complicated query to be executed. So such cases only custom queries are used, or else we generally use the concept of derived queries itself. So now let us pass in a custom query here, because our Spring Data JPA is unable to find out to create query for us. So for that we take a query annotation here, and then we have to write the query by ourselves. So let us write the query for this. Now this is gonna be select, right, and the s from the entity, that is superhero. Now my entity name is superheroes, right? So I will have to follow that, because it is JPQL language that I'm using, it is not SQL. Okay, so that's why it works on the entity. So it has to be, that case sensitivity has to be followed. So that's why I have written it as superheroes, and this S is a alias name here, right? And then what we can say is where s dot universe is equal to, now I want to pass a parameter to this query, because the universe is something that is actually given at the runtime by the end user to us. So I'm not gonna write it as s.universe is equal to Marvel here. If I write it as s.universe is equal to Marvel, so this query will be only searching for the universe Marvel. I want this to give the query that is the placeholder. I want to create a placeholder here. That means a parameter has to be created, a query parameter has to be created here, and then that parameter has to be passed during runtime. So here in JPQL, we can use the named parameter like colon, and then you give the parameter name. So in this case, since I don't want to complicate the things, that is the parameter names and all, so I will keep the parameter name and the property name so that same, that is the standard, so that we don't even need to remember a lot of things there. Okay, so we have the universe here also, right? So that's the parameter I have given. So universe is equal to universe. So here with the query I have to tell that this parameter which I am passing here is the params, right? So for that we give it as the param annotation. Okay, repository query. And what is the name of the parameter? The parameter name is same as the this s dot universe is the property name, and this colon universe is the parameter name. This can be different, but since we are following the industry standard, usually we write these things as same itself. It can be different, so whatever you have written here, you have to give that here as a parameter name. So since my property name and the parameter name are same, so I don't need to remember that. But in syntax, s dot universe is the property name, whereas this colon universe is the parameter name. Okay, let's save it now and run this code again, because in the previous code it was unable to create a query for us. Because of what? Because of the name of this method. Now also it will be unable obviously to create a query, that is derived query for us, but because we have written a query annotation, it will avoid creating the derived query for us, and it will now create the query that we have given. Okay, so let's go ahead and once again we will test this. So let's run this application. Now once we run this application, you will see that there will be no exception for query creation, because here we are not allowing the Spring Data JPA to create a query. Here we as a user, it is a user defined custom query for us. So let's go ahead and test this custom query that we have created just now. So it is on the same endpoint, because you can notice that I have just changed the repository method here, and also the implementation method, right? That is search universe. My controller, that is the endpoint, remains the same, and the controller just calls that particular method. So there is no difference in that, right? So let's go ahead here and then let's hit send. So now it should also retrieve me all the superheroes from this particular universe Marvel which I have given. So that way we can create custom queries. It is as easy as that. So once again, let's just go ahead and see how we have created a custom query. So we used the annotation query, and then we have written a JPQL. So select S from superheroes, where S dot universe uh, where s dot universe is equal to the parameter universe, and that is the universe that we are passing in. Similarly, what we can also do is there might be things like this, find by universe and power, right? So we could do that, or else we have written this ignore case stuff, so we can do that. So let us just pass in some custom queries for these methods as well and see how can we write the custom queries for this. So first of all, I should not be following this find by and all that. So let's call it as universe and power. By the moment I do this universe and power, so my JPQL will not create a query for me. So I'll copy this. Obviously the same method name has to be written in the implementation. So in the implementation also I'm changing it. My endpoint and all remains the same, right? So let's go to the repository, and now let's write the custom query for this, a user defined query, which would look similar to what I have done in this. So let's just copy this. Now the difference is that it requires two parameters rather than just a single parameter. So in my previous example, I had just one parameter there, and now I have two parameters, that is the universe and the power, right? So in this query, I'll simply be writing universe and power. Okay, so I will be writing it as universe and s dot power equals to colon power, and then two arguments has to be given, that is universe and power. But yes, while giving the arguments, we have to tell them that these arguments are the parameters. Okay, so here I will be including these two annotations, that is parameter universe and this is the parameter power. This is the parameter name, so I have written the parameter names as well. Now let's save it again, and the universe and power is something that I have written. So let's save it and once again relaunch this application. Let us test that as well. So I just disconnected that. Let's run it once again. So for universe and power, let me just go ahead and first check what is the endpoint I have given for that. So in the controller, it should be universe and power. So you can see that it is universe slash universe, then power slash power. So I will give universe slash universe marvel, and the power here, all of them are, yeah, two of them have the power as bat, one has the power as batsman. So let's give marvel slash power slash bat, and that method has to actually retrieve me two of the uh, superheroes. So let's hit send. Now you can see that it is searching me the superhero based on the universe, which is Marvel, and based on the power, that is Bat. So this way we can create custom queries, right? So one more thing we have already written, that is case insensitive stuff. So we will apply a custom query on that as well. So let's go ahead and see how do we apply a custom query on this method as well. So this method, this ignore case stuff method that I have written, so what I will do is I'll just remove this find by from here also. Why am I removing this find by? Is just to avoid the JPQL to create query for me. I want to create the queries for this on my own. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a query for this as well. So which is searching for the universe without bothering about the case in which the user has provided the universe. So again, the query would be select star from superheroes s, where s dot universe is something that we have written, right? So now what we will do is we will say where uh, we'll say either upper or lower here, and then we will use the parameter also. We'll convert the parameter also in the lower case. That is how we do it in SQL, right? So let's say lower. Okay, so I will use this function lower, and the s dot universe will be equal to yeah, I also let's say we also want to implement things like this. Maybe a keyword has to be there or something like that, where what we are doing is we will combine a like plus lowercase insensitive search. Okay, so let's try and do that. So what I will do is I will say superheroes s, where lower s dot universe equals to uh, instead of equal to I will say like. Okay, so let's go ahead and write like, then we will give. So these parameters, I will write the parameter later. So what I want is I will say something like this, like lower, and then what needs to be done is you try and perform a uh, like colon universe. So that is the parameter name that I'm looking for. So in like operator, you might have known that in a like operator we require a percent modulus symbol, right? So that says anything before the keyword, anything after that keyword, right? So what I will do is I'll say lower of what? Concat this, combine this with anything before whatever user has typed, which is going to be universe, comma, then pass in the parameter. And after the parameter also user can give anything. So this will match any pattern. Okay. So that way I'll close the lower function, the concat function as well. That's it. Now what I will do is I'll give the parameter name, and the parameter name is universe. And here we have already taken that universe. So universe ignore case is something which I have written, and this is also like what complete universe name may or may not be given. If I can just say MARV, and it will search based on that. Okay, so let's save it and now test our query. Select S from superheroes, where lower S dot universe like lower. uh, if I just write like lower universe, in that case I have to completely write the universe name. Since I have written a like operator and I am using a modulus symbol here, it means anything before this universe, anything after this universe can be searched. Okay, so let's save it and let's terminate this once again and run the application once again. Okay, so let's run this. And this method, that is universe ignore case, let me first check what is the endpoint that I have given for that. So we will go to the controller, and here universe slash ig, and then the universe name it was. So let's say universe slash ig, and then slash, I will just type MARV and hit enter, right? So let's not take Marvel, just type MAR. Now let's check, there is an exception. Let's see unresolved compilation problem. So let's see where is the compilation problem. Yeah, obviously in the IMPL the method name has to be changed. So let's remove this, save it now, so that because I have changed it in the repository, the method name in the IMPL also we are calling the repository method, that has to be changed. So let's come down here and stop the execution. Let's run the execution. So once we run this now, then we will be testing it. There should not be any exception now. Yes, there is no exception. Now let's go here and type MAR. Let's hit search. Now you can see all the Marvel details are retrieved for us. I did not provide it as completely Marvel. That is because we have used a like operator there. Anything before that and anything after that is all fine. Okay, so then even if I type this MAR in capital, I will still be getting these data. So you can see that I still get the data. That way we can write the custom queries. So three custom queries we have implemented here. One for uh, just searching the superhero by universe. One by searching the universe based on the searching the superhero based on the universe and power, and one where we are searching the superhero based on the universe, but not just the entire universe, a part of universe, that is like universe, plus it can be in any case irrespective of the case provided by the user. So that way we can write custom queries, and I hope you have enjoyed this session. If you're enjoying the sessions, do share the channel link to your friends. Also subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you for your patience.